In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro discusses the current state of the economy and the political landscape in the United States. He highlights the disconnect between the positive economic indicators reported by major media outlets and the lack of optimism felt by the general population. Despite claims of a soft landing and declining inflation, recent data shows that inflation rates are still higher than expected, leading to concerns about the Federal Reserve's ability to reduce interest rates. Shapiro points out that inflation rates are running at 3.5%, well above the target rate of 2%. This high inflation, combined with the massive influx of money into the economy in recent years, has led to a significant increase in prices for consumers. The stock market reacted negatively to the news, with bond yields rising and the possibility of interest rate cuts in jeopardy. The current economic situation poses a challenge for President Joe Biden, as high inflation rates and interest rates could lead to an economic slowdown just before the upcoming election. Democrats are facing challenges in framing their campaign narrative, with concerns about the economy and foreign policy under Biden's administration. Shapiro highlights the Democrats' strategy of shifting focus to Republicans as the source of all problems, with Biden accusing them of wanting to repeal Obamacare and kill millions of Americans. Vice President Kamala Harris also joins in, suggesting that this could be the last Democratic election ever, playing on fears of a potential threat to democracy. Democrats are also using the issue of abortion to rally support and mobilize voters. Shapiro discusses the recent Arizona ruling on abortion laws, which has sparked controversy and debate. Democrats are seizing on this opportunity to paint Republicans as wanting to roll back time to 1864 and restrict women's rights. Shapiro notes that former President Donald Trump has taken a moderate stance on abortion, advocating for states' rights and suggesting that the Arizona law may go too far. However, Democrats are using this issue to fuel the narrative of a Republican war on women and reproductive rights. Shapiro criticizes the media for sensationalizing and exaggerating political issues to drive a specific narrative. He points out the use of fear-mongering tactics and hyperbolic language by politicians like Harris and Goldberg to incite emotions and rally support. The focus on divisive issues like abortion and healthcare serves to distract from the real economic challenges facing the country. The conversation shifts to the border crisis and the alarming increase in drug trafficking, particularly fentanyl and methamphetamine, at the U.S.-Mexico border. Shapiro highlights the staggering amount of drugs seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers in the Tucson sector, emphasizing the deadly consequences of fentanyl overdoses. He criticizes President Joe Biden's handling of the border crisis and the lack of effective measures to address the situation. Shapiro discusses the political fallout for Democrats, particularly in contested states like Montana, where Senator Jon Tester is facing challenges due to the border crisis. The potential impeachment trial of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is also mentioned, with Republicans aiming to capitalize on Democratic vulnerabilities on immigration issues. The debate surrounding the impeachment trial and its implications for the upcoming elections is analyzed in the context of border security and national security concerns. The podcast delves into the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, specifically focusing on Israeli airstrikes targeting Hamas leaders in Gaza. Shapiro highlights the complexities of the situation, with Hamas refusing to compromise and Israel facing challenges in negotiating a truce. The role of the Biden administration in addressing the conflict and the need for a diplomatic solution are discussed, emphasizing the importance of maintaining stability in the region. Shapiro addresses the internal strife within the Republican Party, particularly the tensions between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Speaker Mike Johnson. Greene's threat to push forward a motion to vacate against Johnson over a Ukraine aid bill highlights the divisions within the party. The discussion shifts to the debate on FISA Section 702 and the proposed reforms to the surveillance program. Shapiro analyzes the arguments for and against requiring a warrant for every search of the database containing U.S. persons' information. The challenges faced by House judiciary leaders in navigating the legislation and the potential consequences of failing to extend the program are examined in the context of national security concerns. Shapiro touches on the trend of celebrities having transgender children, raising questions about the influence of Hollywood culture on family dynamics. The podcast explores the societal implications of such trends and the impact on children's well-being and identity development. Shapiro delves into the complexities of gender identity and the need for thoughtful discussions on transgender issues in the public sphere.